So you're thinking of building a microgreens grow room, or maybe you're about to lay out your indoor microgreens farm, and obviously you want to design it in the best way possible. Lucky for you, I've built 3 microgreens farms over the course of my career, all different sizes, and I'm going to share with you right now how to lay out your farm space for optimal usage and workflow. For the best microgreens content, be sure to subscribe to my channel and ring the bell. That way you get notified every Tuesday at 2 p.m. when I come out with a new microgreens video. In all 3 of my farm spaces, I had to lay them out in the best way possible. Space was definitely a limiting factor as my business was growing, so this forced me to learn how to design these grow rooms in the best way possible. I learned how to maximize the space that I was working with, and also how to design them with intelligence and intention for the most positive and efficient workflow. These concepts are important, especially as you grow and scale your business, so I'm excited to share with you right now what I've learned. First, I want to talk about space utilization. You want to be able to get the absolute most out of your space to ensure profitability and prevent the need for expanding into a bigger space with higher rent, which will increase your overhead costs. One trick is to utilize the space above your grow racks. You can't really grow microgreens up there because there's nowhere to mount a light at that point. There's no shelf above it. This can be potentially used for germination, but I don't really like the idea of that because stack trays are heavy and you run the risk of hurting yourself. I use the top of my racks to store supplies like paper towels, plastic packaging, gloves, and other materials that I need on hand anyway. The space underneath your tray making and harvesting tables is another great space to utilize for storage. Be sure to utilize every square inch you can find, and especially consider your vertical space that you can use. Maybe you have some empty wall space above a table that you're using where you can mount a shelf and store more supplies. Okay, you understand the concept of using as much space as possible so that way you can prevent yourself from having to move your farm to a new space with higher rent. Let's now get into the fun stuff where we talk about where everything should go in your space. Comment below and let me know how big the space is that you're starting with. I remember starting with a very small 10 by 10 space, and I want to hear more about your startup story. Where your supplies, materials, and equipment are placed in your grow room will have a big effect on the efficiency of your process and the ease of your workflow. Consider where your supplies comes in and out of your farm. This is where you'll be receiving your packages and bringing them into your grow space before you store them somewhere, as well as where your product needs to go once it's harvested and move out the door. For instance, your refrigerator should be as close to the exit as possible so that way when your products are ready to be sold, they're right there ready to go. Your sticker station should be on the side of your harvesting table closest to the refrigerator so your products are moving in the right direction as you harvest. Your growing medium should be stored right where you make your trays so that way it's ready to go as you need it. You don't want any back and forths. You want to make sure that everything is moving through your space with intention. When designing your farm layout, think about how the materials flow through your farm, and from there, basically make it easy and convenient for yourself. This will result in an efficient space to work in and will save you plenty of time over time. I find that in general, you want your germination and your tray making area to be in the furthest back part of your farm as possible. That way your product and everything flows through your farm back towards the front where it needs to go ultimately to be sold. It may not always be the case, but this is a general rule of thumb that I've realized as I've designed my spaces. In my current farm, I actually got lucky because I have 2 doors, one in the front and one in the back. Because of this, I can receive my soil through the back doors, which is right next to the germination room where I'm going to be using my soil anyway. I hope this information made sense. This concept was actually trickier to explain than I originally thought it was going to be. Nevertheless, I'll be diving deeper into specific topics like farm layout on my Instagram page. So be sure to follow me on there for bite-sized pieces of information that are easy to absorb and understand. It's probably a good idea to rewatch my farm tour video at this point so you can see how I laid out my space. So I'll link that video below, or you can watch the other video to learn all the equipment and supplies that you need to start your farm in the first place. If you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and share it with anybody you think it'll help. Thanks so much, and I'll see you next time.